Hey RV family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, the review guy, reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new Napalm Death record entitled Throes of Joy and the Jaws of Defeatism. This is the 16th studio-length album by the insanely long-running, influential, and just completely badass band Napalm Death. Now this is when I would do some sort of introduction for those unfamiliar, but at this point, if you're a metalhead, Napalm Death is on your mind, you know who they are, you know what they've accomplished. 15 hard-hitting albums that have proved that grindcore can be so much more dynamic than what it was, influenced by crust punk, going through a death metal phase. So much has went through Napalm Death's entire discography. The topical lyricism, the change-ups in lineup, the change-ups in the way that they provided instrumentation, and then in the 2000s deciding to return to more of a grindcore formula. And the 2010s bringing upon one of their best records, Apex Predator Easy Meat, that was 2015's record, and this has been the longest gap between studio releases for the band. I was super fucking stoked for this record, most people were, and that's just because 2020 seems like the perfect year for Napalm Death to come out with a release and just blow people's faces off. Because let's be honest, one thing that I have always enjoyed about Napalm Death is how their lyricism and their topic matters never seem too preachy or like they're shoving it down your throat, but just more so they're providing a message, they're providing a narrative, and they're putting forth their own ideologies in a way that seems relatable, that makes you think, and even if you don't particularly agree with the things that they talk about, you can at least respect the sort of punk ethos that they came from the crust punk scene that heavily influenced grindcore and just hardcore punk in general. They've been at this a while, they know what the hell they're doing, and with the state of unrest that our world is currently in, whether you're talking about the obvious virus, whether you're talking about the way the political climate is going, the social climate is going, everything about the world is just in shambles and everything is a total mess. So for a band that has always centered around counterculture, tackling the government, tackling the environment, tackling humanity in such an abrasive way, now seems like the perfect time. So I'm not counting the bonus track edition, which is what I did listen to. This is 42 minutes, not too unlike their last record. And holy shit, if this isn't just on the same level of Apex Predator, Easy Meat, and proves that Napalm Death is nothing if they're not consistent, but they are also just sounding so much more fresh and topical than ever before, and I'm not even saying just lyrically. Their whole sound is so much more victorious, and it sounds so anthemic. The bass work is more grinding and grimy than ever before. The guitar tone is ferocious. Barney Greenway has aged like a fine wine on the vocals. He is so throaty and shrieky. He sounds so aggressive. I literally don't know what the hell this man has sacrificed to be able to sound like this, but his voice is just incredible here. And while the formula that they are following across this record is very much rooted in the grindcore that they came from, I would say that if you really want to dissect these tracks, a lot of the tracks do read as just sort of Napalm Death 101, but it's the really shining moments of dynamics that sets many of these tracks apart from the others, such as the self-titled track where you get these really awesome gang vocals. It's something that Napalm Death hasn't been afraid or unfamiliar to do, but here it just sounds really relentless. The percussion on a belly full of salt and spleen. Remember how I said anthemic? Yeah, I wasn't joking. If you want an indication, this track is literally one of the most rolling, epic, theatrical tracks, but also ominous and just downright scary. It reads like a dystopian society where we're just marching forward to our own execution on the assembly line. Barney literally sounds like he's sitting at an altar and he's a preacher of death. For a track to sound this doomy and this heavy and having such a full mix, it really just leaves you feeling hollow. There's even some guitar melodies and there's even some vocal refrains that just read to me as being very sticky and catchy, and considering that they paired up once again with Russ Russell, who produced their last record, Apex Predator Easy Meat, everything is so heavy, so audible. I really enjoy the way that he mixes bass. Grimy bass, luckily, is found a lot of times in grindcore, which unfortunately is something death metal can't really get right a lot of times. But here, the bass is just so prominent and in your face that it makes me happy that they have a producer that understands how to handle it as an actual instrument that deserves presence and not just an accoutrement to enhance the guitar. And on the topic of sort of the whole formula argument, Napalm Death clearly has a pattern, and they have earned it, because there's a difference between copying a pattern and dumbing it down and watering it down and literally making the damn formula yourself. They have literally almost been at this for 4 decades, and yet they're sounding more heavy, more ferocious than they ever have before. And I would definitely bet money that the state of the world and the state of our current affairs is certainly something that is fueling their aggression and fueling their rage. I don't think this record is without flaws. In many ways, I think at times Napalm Death can unfortunately become a bit too ambitious for their own good, but that's a good or bad thing depending on how you like your grindcore. They actually get pretty progressive and technical at times, and the grindcore tracks, the tracks that are just never-ending grindcore, very solid, just no frills, no bullshit, are the tracks that at times can blend together with some other recent Napalm Death records, but they still sound at the top of their game, and there's something to be said about just doing what you do good. I know many people agree, but for me personally, I think Napalm Death just sounds better than ever, with a solid production, a solid topic matter, and a clear-cut knowledge of what they are supposed to do and what their fans expect and enjoy and what they are best at. They play to their strengths here, and even though some of the moments can feel like they are a bit too ambitious for their own good, this is one of those records that only come around once or twice a year from a veteran band that just is at the top of their game, consistently kicking ass and not apologizing for it. In the future, one thing I would love to see them do is do more tracks that push the boundaries of their own sound. These doomy sections are just really diverse, sound great with Napalm Death, and they clearly do it great. When they slow it down, go a bit more murky, it really conjures up some great moments on this record. But other than that, I'm going to be giving this album an 8 out of 10. And that is a wrap. The end of the video decided to literally die on me in terms of audio, so have you heard this new Napalm Death record, Throes of Joy and the Jaws of Defeatism? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss this record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morse, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.